What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the June 2nd, 2011 edition of Ask the King. This is episode 13. I'm DSP, and this will actually be the very first episode of Ask the King appearing on my channel, DSPGaming, on YouTube. Previously, I put these up on the King Ep.13 HD, when that used to be my vlog channel. But now, at this point, it's really defunct. There's no reason to put stuff over there, considering 99% of the people who follow me are now following me on DSPGaming, so all new footage is going to be going up on DSPGaming. Okay, so I have lots of questions. I apologize, first of all, that it took so long for me to make this episode. There was a lot going on this past month, including me going on trips, getting a new gaming PC, just trying to finish up multiple games, and I got caught up in it and didn't have a chance to do one of these. So I'm happy to now be able to jump in and do a new episode. So let's get started. I've got lots of questions to answer, and some of these are pretty good. The very first question here is from the Saint Aquarius, and he asks, Dear Phil, now that you've had a lot of time playing the next generation of fighting games, meaning Street Fighter 4, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Mortal Kombat 9, etc., what do you personally think? Do you think that today's fighting games are going in the right direction or the wrong direction? Also, do you feel that they are tournament worthy? Or that maybe we should go back to classics like Super Turbo? I've talked about this in the past. I guess I should talk about it a little bit more now that we've played more fighting games this year. As you know, this was a pretty big year for fighters. You had Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Mortal Kombat 9, basically both kind of rebooting the series. You know, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had waiting over a decade to even get that game, and Mortal Kombat 9 going back to more of the old school gameplay of the games from the 90s and ignoring all of the gameplay of the Mortal Kombats from the 2000 era. What do I think? Unfortunately, I think I have to say that my honest opinion is they've gone in a direction which is very smart business-wise, but not very smart gameplay-wise or quality-wise. They've made these games dumbed down. They've made it... A lot of Marvel vs. Capcom players who were hardcore Marvel 2 players back in the day hate Marvel 3. And the reason that they do is because they say this game is made for people who really don't want to put time into a game to learn how to play it. It's more of... almost everything is possible. Almost every character has an insanely long combo that's pretty fairly easy to learn and execute once you practice a little bit. For me, I kind of equate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 to X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Now, this was the very first versus game from back in the 90s where you could tag in and out. And the reason a lot of people don't like that game is because almost every single character has an infinite combo and or broken strategy in the game that's really easy to do and basically makes the game a one-hit game over. Meaning if I throw you once with Cyclops, chances are you're dead. The entire round or the entire game is lost. And Marvel vs. Capcom 3 unfortunately seems to be turning out like that. Like, wow, okay, I got one random hit or one random move, I fooled you once, here comes a fucking 100% combo, and now you're screwed because I killed the most important character on your team. On the flip side of that, some people say that X Factor kind of cheapens the game because you're a really good player and okay, you landed that 100% combo. Uh-oh, here comes the character and he uses X Factor and now all of a sudden he's super powerful and he can kill your whole team in 2 seconds. And that's like kind of a scrubs assist, so to speak. If you're not good at the game, just be good with one character, have him come in and use X Factor, and all of a sudden you have a chance to win again. So there's a lot of reasons why serious tournament competitors are disliking Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Now, on the same vein, Mortal Kombat 9, when it first came out, a lot of people thought it was pretty good, but now here we are about a month into serious gameplay, maybe a month and a half, and people have found these insanely long broken combos, like Kung Lao. I mean, Kung Lao undoubtedly is the best character in that game. He has a spin move that goes through most other moves in the game, and if you hit it, you get a gigantic combo that is very easy to execute, and pretty much, you know, he has the EX, I'm sorry, not his EX, his X-ray move has you know, super armor on it, meaning it beats almost everything or cancels out the hits from anything else, and it also leads into a giant combo. So a lot of people are complaining that that game makes no sense. Why did you make a game where you went back to the original Mortal Kombat gameplay, which was a really good choice, but then all of a sudden they gave everyone these gigantic fucking combos that take 50% or more damage, and it's like, what the hell were they thinking? So, if you want my honest opinion, yeah, I'm sorry, and I hate to say this, but being an aficionado of the classic Street Fighters, being a person who's been around since the day Street Fighter 2 was launched, that was really the first day I played a fighting game, Super Turbo really is a better game than all these new games that are coming out. even though it might not be super balanced, it's still a fun game at high levels. Every character can win. There's still stuff to this day. The game's been out for more than 15 years, and to this day, things are still being discovered in the game, gameplay-wise, matchup-wise, and new tactics are being found, and new strategies are being found. And the game doesn't rely on, oh, I hit you once and I get a 100% combo. Now, don't get me wrong, there are touch-of-death combos in that game, but they're not commonplace, meaning you have to really make a mistake in order to be hit by one of these combos that finishes the round completely. In a game like Marvel 3, it's extremely commonplace. I mean, almost every move leads to a giant combo that can rape your whole fucking team. So, it's really ridiculous. It really is. They've dumbed down fighting games at this point so that the common gamer, not someone who's practicing this game hardcore for months or years on end, but the very common gamer can sit down and just master everything and do these insanely large combos and basically dominate opponents. And again, business-wise, very smart choice because it basically opens the game up to thousands more people who never thought about being good at a fighting game before, and I'm sure they've sold thousands more copies than ever before, but at the same time, on a competitive level, these games really aren't as good. And sure, you might argue, okay, maybe that's true, but why is it that Justin Wong always, tops the charts in these games? Why is it that the same people seem to be doing the best? Keep in mind, those people are playing the games hardcore. Like, every day they play the game for hours. They travel the country for every tournament they can play. They're dedicating their lives to playing these games. Of course they're going to be the best at them. But what you will find is just under that upper echelon, there is a vast pool of players who never before even played fighting games who are good at these games now. And that's really the mark of the proof that these games have been dumbed down to some extent. Now, again, for the common gamer, it's a good thing, and I think that it's great that a common gamer can now play these games for a couple hours, and also the dawn of the internet. You have to understand that back in the day in the 90s, there were no videos on the internet of these games where you could watch and learn all these top-tier strategies, these amazingly long combos. Back then, it was just you either had to learn it for yourself, see someone pull it off in a tournament environment and try to emulate what they're doing, or maybe see someone wrote a fact online, something like this text. And you have to try to figure out from the text how the fuck to execute the combo. Keep in mind the text doesn't tell you timing or anything like that. So yeah, the dawn of the internet has also made these games a lot easier for the common person. So yeah, I see both sides of the argument, and I see both. It's a double-edged sword. It's great that these games are now becoming more mainstream and more popular, but at the same time, it's dumbing down the games. And for me personally, I would rather play Super Turbo. I would actually rather play Street Fighter 4 or Super Street Fighter 4 and hopefully Arcade Edition when it comes out in a week. Of course, who knows how bad that's going to be because everyone says it's unbalanced. But I would rather play a straightforward fighter like that than play Marvel 3. Because Marvel 3 really is it's a dumb game. It's fun to play in a casual setting and just to fuck around and, oh, ha, I grabbed you once and I killed your whole team, ha-ha, it's funny. But in a tournament setting, the game really isn't holding up that well. And I think a lot of people are saying that and seeing that, and it's a shame because Capcom had potential here to really make a great game, and instead they kind of copped out and just made a fun game. And that's okay, but Capcom infamously makes fighting games that are tournament worthy, and this game is kind of turning out to not be this so much. And the same with Mortal Kombat 9. The game is turning out to be an unbalanced mess where every character has this ridiculously long combo, and it's like, why is this game based around landing one or two combos? Shouldn't it be about basic gameplay, footsies, and things that made a game like Super Turbo popular? So, it's a slippery slope. I see the problems that are happening, and I think it's a good thing for fighting games in general because they're going to become more mainstream, they're going to become more popular and more fun, but in a tournament setting, it's not a very good thing. Okay, that was a long answer. Okay. Up next, let's see. Oh, hey DSP, I remembered in an Ask the King video that you said you had a lot of girls that you liked. My questions are, when you meet that special someone in your life, will you know deep down right away, or will it take a while for you to open up and tell her how you feel about her? Second question, which type of girl are you into? Fun-loving, serious, snooty, and bitchy? Please don't choose the bitchy girls. Thanks, Heart, DSP, and that... What? Well, I didn't write down the person's name, but the only thing I have to say to that entire question is, boy, do I hope you're a chick, because if you're a dude, that's freaking scary. Okay, next question. Okay, there were a lot of people who asked me a common question, okay? A lot of people have said, Phil, you've been a machinima director for several months, since January. Actually, I've been a director for over a year and a half, but I didn't post anything up until February. And people have said, Phil, the one video that you put on Machinima Respawn channel on YouTube was your Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Basics tutorial. Why haven't you put any more videos up there, and are you planning on putting any more videos up there? And the answer is a pretty honest answer, and it might surprise some people, but for those who have been following along, I think you'll understand. Whoa. First of all, the way that Machinima Respawn works is a video goes up, and especially on a very popular weekend, there's a bunch of videos that go up, okay? Your video goes up, and then a half an hour later, someone else's video goes up, and then a half an hour later, someone else's video goes up. When they put up my Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tutorial, it was the very first video they put up that day, and then immediately, like, a half an hour later, they put up another Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tutorial by someone else. So the first thing I have to say is, why the fuck would you put two Marvel vs. Capcom 3 tutorials that are directly competing with each other up on the same day on the same channel on Machinima? It makes no sense. Obviously, the one that came out second will be viewed because it was the latest video, okay? So, number one, I don't agree with that practice. I think that practice is stupid, and it made absolutely no sense. Number two, the video only got something like 20,000 views. And why? My theory is very simple. Because number one, someone else put a fucking another tutorial up of the same exact game, and number two, that tutorial was put up second after mine. So obviously, again, if you're looking at latest videos, you're going to go to the latest one, and you're going to ignore the one before it, and oh, this guy went second, let's watch his. So everyone went and watched this guy's tutorial, and nobody watched mine. And actually, Machinima's contacted me. My contact at Machinima said, gee, Phil, are you ever going to put more videos up? And I basically said, why? That model of the way that you work that Respawn channel doesn't work for the kind of content that I put out. The kind of content that I put out is episodic, it's constant, it's a bunch of videos at once, it's a fun playthrough. I need exposure, and I'm not getting exposure if you're only putting up my video for a half hour and then you put up another 12 videos that day that slap on top of my video like a stack of flapjacks. It just doesn't make sense. And it's not like, you know, I was featured or anything. Sure, it was the first video that day, but I was quickly shuffled under the rug as 10 other videos came out, and no one really even saw it. And in addition to that, it's kind of funny because the same video, that Marvel tutorial, I put up on my DSP Street Fighter channel, it got over twice the views on my Street Fighter channel than it did on the Machinima Respawn channel. So what incentive do I have to put any videos up on Machinima Respawn? Zero. There's really no reason for me to ever put anything up over there. So unfortunately, you know, I did think at one point, gee, maybe I should put all this work into doing the Hateful Truth videos and stuff like that and put it up there. But that model that they have over there doesn't work. The only real people that go to Respawn are people looking for a certain kind of video, primarily FPS games, okay? And there are other videos over there that have been successful, but they're few and far between. Most people go to the Machinima channels to look for first-person shooter videos, and that's it. They know that if they want to see my kind of video, they go to my channels. Everyone knows that now. It's not like it's some foreign thing. And also, I didn't see any spillover, really, from that video going up on Respawn. I didn't see any significant spillover onto DSP Street Fighter. So for me, there's no real reason for me to put time and effort into making videos for that channel. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm doing pretty well right now, doing what I'm doing on my own channel, so to hell with it. That's my honest answer. Okay, next question. Hey Phil, for E3 2010, the main focus was that Sony and Microsoft were pursuing motion controls in gaming. My question is, what is going to be the major focus of E3 this year, and what are you looking forward the most to, and what are your expectations? And that's from XP Sunny D. Well, first of all, I would like to say, ha, I told you so. The focus of E3 last year was primarily on motion controls, and both John Rambo and I agreed it was not going to turn out to be anything significant. At the time, Sony and Microsoft were like, oh, the PS Move and the Kinect, oh, you are the controller, it's going to revolutionize gaming. Well, here we are a year later, and it hasn't done jack shit for gaming, okay? There's zero mainstream games using these controls. The ones that tried, like SOCOM or Killzone, didn't do well. And it's actually funny because SOCOM and Killzone both very heavily push the PS Move, but if you actually look at the sales numbers for PS Move in the past 3 months, they're abysmal. They've plummeted. No one is buying the PS Move. So these mainstream games that were supposedly supposed to sell it did the opposite. People actually don't want to buy the PS Move to play with those games. So it's a joke. Last year's E3 was a joke. That's the bottom line. That's why so many people were disappointed, because they said, why is it so much about motion control? We want games. That's what we want. And hopefully this year's E3, that's what I'm really hoping they focus on. We're going to see, you know, very good previews of all the games coming out the fourth quarter this year, and Mass Effect 3. All these big blockbusters that everyone's been waiting for. Hopefully we'll have a lot of details on the new Nintendo console, now that they're finally giving up on their stupid gimmick Wii, which was a complete fucking waste of time, except for the fact that it made the money because it attracted the casual gamer, but now they realized, oh shit, now that the 3 to 4 years of casual gamer money is gone, no one's buying anything for Wii because the system's a piece of shit. So now they have to move to an HD console, which they should have done 3 years ago, but they were so greedy that they fucking just kept focusing on bullshit, and now they're wondering, gee, how the hell are we going to get market share back because no one plays the Wii? Pretty funny. So I think everyone's waiting to see what Nintendo's going to do, what rabbit are they going to pull out of a hat, you know what I mean, to get back into the forefront of gaming. And again, I think this year they're pretty much going to throw away motion controls. You're going to see very little to nothing about motion controls. It's going to be primarily focused on games and the sequels that are coming out in the fall and early next year, which, by the way, is what E3 should be about anyway, the games and the software, not about fucking stupid motion peripherals. Okay. For everyone saying that I was wrong about the things that I said about Minecraft in the last Ask the King that I did, fuck you, suck my dick, I don't give a shit. Okay, next question. Hello Phil, will you be using the new live feature for YouTube partners? I would love to see that panel you were supposed to do at Too Many Games Done there, or even a Super Turbo Rebo stream. Take care, Gregarious85. Now what Gregarious85 was talking about is that YouTube has a new feature of live streaming, and it's been live for about 2 months. Now, there's pros and cons. The pro is that for someone like me, if I wanted to live stream off of DSPGaming, wow, I mean, already have the viewer base. So it would probably be one of the most, biggest streams of people trying to do that, because I already have, 10,000 people lined up to watch. So it would be huge. And being that it's on YouTube, it would be even more huge because there's more people watching things on YouTube than anywhere else. On the flip side of that, there's two major cons. Number one is, it's only 480p. It doesn't even do HD yet. And when you have other websites like Justin TV and Ustream that have been doing full HD for quite a while, it's kind of silly that YouTube decides to put out a standard definition streaming service that's way behind the times, okay? Number two, there's no way to monetize the stream right now. There's absolutely no ads on them. YouTube hasn't figured out how to monetize it properly yet. And I actually spoke with Machinima regarding this, and Machinima said, let's keep in touch. If there is a time when they figure out how to monetize the streams, then we'll try to work together to do them. But until then, there's really no reason to do it, because there's no potential to make any money. So it makes no sense. Why would I play a game on a stream and make no money when I can play a game in videos and make money? It's pretty dumb. It's a no-brainer, okay? Next question. Hey Phil, Dead Rising 2 Off the Record has been announced. It's basically Dead Rising 2 with the protagonist from the first game in it. Frank West instead of Chuck Green, along with some other changes. Are you going to be playing it, even though it could largely be the same game? And that's from Portal Nuck. The answer is yeah, I'll probably play it, and the reason is I had a lot of fun with Dead Rising 2. Once I started playing co-op with John Rambo, I think we really enjoyed the game. The one thing I don't understand about this game is if it really is the same game, meaning it's going to be the same environment. I did read there's going to be a new area that's different from anything that's been done before in a Dead Rising game, but besides that, it's mostly the same environments from Dead Rising 2. So my question is, why the fuck is this a full retail release, and why are they expecting people to pay $60 for a game that they've already played with some minute tweaks here and there? I don't get that. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe they'll completely change everything. Maybe all the weapons will be different, all the combo weapons will be different, all the outfits will be different, there'll be different zombies, there'll be different bosses. They could do that, but I haven't seen anyone saying they're going to do that. From all intents and purposes, it seems like it's the same damn game with a couple tweaks with Frank West. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but more than likely, yes, I will be playing it, and I'll probably be playing it with John Rambo. Okay, next question. Phil, you once said that you were an avid Howard Stern listener, and you also attended the Too Many Games gaming convention in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Well, Howard actually decided to use that occasion to criticize the gaming community by making several generalizing statements, undermining gamers' passion and appreciation for the developer and the games that they play. He poked fun at people that Wolfie interviewed, and so, just so you know, Wolfie is a correspondent for the Howard Stern show. Let's see, he undermined and spoke irreverently about gamers such as the angry video game nerd and his fans, and blew smoke out of his ass about cosplayers. Of course, I don't mind. This guy says he doesn't mind that much. I don't mind much about that either. What is your reaction to this? I understand that he does this type of crap all the time on his XM broadcast, but it really makes it clear that he doesn't have his facts straight about anything concerning gaming, and that question is from Rolls. Well, this is interesting because I did catch part of this segment on the Howard Stern show. Yes, I am a fan of the Howard Stern show, and I have a couple things to say. First of all, in general terms, what Howard was trying to say was that people who are like super hardcore into video games but don't do anything else are fucked up in the head. And he's absolutely right. There are people who don't have a job, don't have friends, don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or they don't hang out with their family. All they do is sit around playing games. And the people who come to mind are people who are like hardcore into World of Warcraft and that kind of stuff. And there are also other people who don't play World of Warcraft, but they literally just sit on their fucking couch playing video games all day long. And this is their life. And it's funny because I see people who actually have more achievement points than me on Xbox Live. Keep in mind, I've been playing games hardcore for about 2.5 years now. There are people who have like 100,000 achievement points. What the fuck possessed you to play games that much? I mean, I'm doing it because I had it as a fun hobby. I did it on YouTube, became popular, and now I've turned it into a career. It makes sense for me to play games that much. What the hell are those people doing who play games that much? That's pretty crazy, okay? You have to understand that everything has to be taken in balance and in stride. So, for someone to just only play video games, that's the primary focus of their life, but it's not like a job or something they're aspiring to do to make money or make a living, that's pretty nuts, okay? So that was generally what Howard Stern was saying. He was saying, look at these people, because they interviewed some people who were absolutely ridiculous, and you know, I was there at the event, and there were some absolutely ridiculous people at this event. There were people unhygienic, weighed 300 pounds, and, you know, obviously they had no life, and here they are walking around this gaming convention, and this is like their chance to shine because it's the one thing that they're into. And it's sad. It really is. But you know what? It's not just gaming. It's anything that's a hobby. You see the same people at a Star Wars convention, at a sci-fi convention, at an anime convention, at a movie convention, at a horror convention, at any kind of convention, you're going to see that kind of person, okay? So it's not just video games. But I think what the point that Howard was trying to make is that no, if you have nothing going for you in life, if you really don't have a job, and you don't have anything that's real and tangible, that really is you know, makes your life worth living, maybe you should probably stop fucking playing video games 24/7 and go try to find something to do, okay? That was his point. Take everything in moderation, take everything in stride. Now, on the flip side of this, in the past couple of years of being a Howard Stern fan, I have found that as Howard is getting older, he is changing a lot, okay? And he's a lot more bitchy. He bitches and whines about stuff. It's funny because when he was younger, he used to make fun of his parents for being whiny Jews, and now it seems he's become just like them, but he doesn't realize it. He's not self-aware that he's basically becoming his parents. So he does things like this, and then he goes to the extreme. You know, it would have been okay if he just made fun of one particular person, but then he goes off on tangents and he makes fun of every gamer in general, and he makes fun of the angry video game nerd, and he has absolutely no reference. He doesn't understand that the nerd makes a shit ton of money doing what he's doing. He doesn't understand that someone like me is making good money doing what I'm doing. You know, if we're the exception to the rule, of course, so if we actually talk to him, he probably would have his mind fucking blown that we're actually making it, basically playing games and making videos of us playing games. But to Howard, all he sees is the tunnel vision of the generalization, and the generalization to him is all the people at that convention were there just to play games. They don't have lives, they don't have jobs, they don't have, you know, anything going for them. All they do is play games. What the hell are they doing with their lives? So I can see both sides. I kind of agree with his argument, but at the same time, he doesn't understand that that's not all the people that were there. There are a lot of nice people there, people who love video gaming just as a hobby, and it was cool for them to go out and hang out and meet people and play games. And people who are artists who love painting video games, and as you saw, some of the art and stuff that I took home from that convention was really unique and interesting. So I see both sides of the coin. Howard doesn't. He always has his one very, very directed view at everything. So, am I angry? No, not really. I kind of understand that that's how he is. And especially now, like I said, now that he's getting older, he really doesn't take his time to get the facts. He just forms an opinion and then hones in on that opinion, and that's it. It's like it'll never change. That's it. He's right, you're wrong. So, it is what it is. That's Howard Stern. That's how he is these days. So, alright, so that's about half the questions down, and please come back for part 2 of Ask the King, where I will continue to answer more questions.